Wait 1 minute. Before you scroll, I want to ask you a question. A question that could change the way you think forever. Do you believe that being a good person keeps you safe? Do you think kindness and humility protect you from hardship? Do you believe generosity makes people loyal to you? Or that honesty automatically earns you respect? If you answered yes to even one of these questions, then get ready. Because you are about to face a truth society never wanted you to know. This is the biggest lie society has ever taught you. A lie that traps millions of people. That being a good person means being safe. But the real truth is very different. Being a good person is like fire. A fire that can burn everything you've built in your life. Your relationships, your job, your dreams, everything. All the things you believed would protect your happiness and security can be destroyed by this fire of goodness. Niccolo Machiavelli understood this long ago. And now it's a truth you must understand too, because the world doesn't want to tell you this. But those who truly understand success know it well. Sometimes, to survive and win in this world, you cannot rely only on the dream of being a good person. Yes, Niccolo Machiavelli understood this. He watched good leaders fail. He saw kind rulers get destroyed. He saw generous people get betrayed by the very people they helped. And he wrote it all down. Today, I'm going to share his hidden truth with you. The shocking cost of being good that nobody talks about. In the next few minutes, you'll learn why your goodness can actually make you weak. Why people don't respect your kindness. They take advantage of it. Most importantly, how to turn your goodness from a weakness into a real power. But first, let me be clear. I'm not telling you to be evil or hurt anyone. I'm showing you how to be good strategically, not blindly. Because the truth is, in a world full of wolves, being a sheep will get you eaten alive. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I choose strategic goodness. From today, everything changes. From now on, you won't be blindly nice. You'll be strategically good. In this video, we'll uncover why goodness doesn't always protect you. Often, it can actually harm you. And we'll see how to turn it into a source of real power. Let's start with the first shocking truth. 1. Goodness makes you vulnerable. Think of the kindest person you know. Are they truly respected? Or are they the person everyone calls when they need something? Being good makes you predictable. People know you won't fight back. They know you won't say no. They know they can push you around because you're too nice to stop them. You end up being the office doormat, the friend who always pays for dinner, the family member who always says yes even when it hurts. I knew a person like this. He was the best team manager ever, always helping his team, always covering for them, always putting their needs first. But guess what? Someone else got promoted over him. Why? Because nice people don't look like leaders. They look like servants. People don't respect your goodness. They exploit it. When someone is always available to help, their help loses value. When someone never sets boundaries, people keep crossing them. When someone never shows strength, people assume they have none. Your goodness becomes your weakness because it tells the world, you can take advantage of me. Machiavelli once said, the lion cannot protect himself from traps, and the fox cannot defend himself from wolves. You must be a fox to spot traps, and a lion to scare wolves. If you act like a sheep in a world full of wolves, that's why you keep getting hurt. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I protect my energy. 2. The generosity trap. Here's a truth that might shock you. The more you give, the less people appreciate it. Sounds strange, right? But it's true. Generosity gets short-term praise. People thank you, they compliment you, it feels amazing. But over time, something dangerous happens. Your generosity creates dependency, entitlement, and eventually resentment. Think about it. Help someone once, they're grateful. Help them twice, they're thankful. Help them 10 times, they start expecting it. Your kindness becomes normal to them. If you ever stop helping, they don't remember all the times you said yes. They remember the one time you said no. Suddenly, you're the selfish one. You're the bad guy. It's the same with kids and parents. Give a child everything at first. They're happy. Over time, they expect it. That new phone isn't special anymore, it's just normal. And if you ever say no, they call you unfair. Friendships work the same way. Always picking up the bill, always driving everyone around, always helping people move. At first, they appreciate it. Later, they just assume you'll do it. And if you ever need help back, suddenly they're too busy. This is the generosity trap. You give so much that giving becomes your identity. The moment you need to receive, or even stop giving, people see you as the villain. Your constant generosity doesn't build loyalty. It builds addiction. People get used to your giving, and like addicts, they get upset if it's cut off. The psychological reason is something called hedonic adaptation. We get used to good things faster than we realize. What once felt special quickly becomes normal. What once felt generous eventually becomes expected. Over time, the repeated acts of kindness you offer lose their impact. People stop noticing them because they happen so often. They become invisible. But here's the twist. A single act of saying no stands out. It grabs attention like a bright red flag. That's what people remember. That's what they focus on. That's what they complain about. This happens everywhere. At work, if you always stay late, staying late becomes expected. Nobody celebrates it anymore. But leave on time just once, and suddenly people think you're not committed. In relationships, if you always compromise, compromise becomes the norm. But if you stand your ground even once, suddenly you're labeled difficult. Niccolo Machiavelli once said, "Benefits ought to be conferred gradually, and in that way they will taste better." He understood something most people never learn. Scarcity creates value, while abundance destroys it. That's why strategic timing, giving carefully, acting deliberately, is more powerful than constant generosity. Now let's talk about something even deeper, the mask of virtue. Here's a truth that might make you uncomfortable. Society cares more about appearances than reality. People don't care if you're actually good. They care if you look good. They don't judge your heart. They judge your image. This means that to maintain power, respect, and influence, you must learn to wear the mask of goodness while quietly keeping control beneath the surface. Look at the most successful people you know. Do you think they got there by being genuinely nice to everyone all the time? Absolutely not. They got there by being strategic about when, how, and to whom they show their goodness. They smile in public, but make the hard decisions in private. They show mercy when it benefits them, and strength when it's required. They understand that the appearance of virtue is often more powerful than virtue itself. And let's be clear, this isn't about being fake. It's about being smart, being intentional, being strategic. Because in the real world, perception often shapes reality. Think of it like this. A doctor sometimes has to cut you open to save your life. Is the doctor being cruel? No. The doctor is doing what's necessary, even if it causes temporary pain. Real leaders understand the same thing. Sometimes being truly good means looking bad for a while. Sometimes helping someone means saying no. Sometimes protecting your team means making unpopular decisions. The mask of virtue isn't about lying. It's about timing, knowing when to be soft and when to be strong. Most people get this backwards. They show weakness to enemies and strength to friends. Smart people do the opposite. Machiavelli said, "Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are." Perception shapes reality. If people see you as weak, you become weak. If they see you as strong, you become strong. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I control my image. 4. The economics of power. Everything you do has a cost. Every favor you grant, every time you say yes when you want to say no, every moment spent helping others instead of building yourself. Most good people never think about this. They give and give until they have nothing left, then wonder why they feel exhausted, resentful, and used. Here's the truth. Your time, energy, and resources are limited. Using them on others leaves less for yourself. This isn't selfish. It's math. Unlimited kindness drains your strength. And when you're drained, you can't help anyone, including yourself. Think about airplane safety instructions. Put your own oxygen mask on first, then help others. If you pass out helping someone else first, now 2 people need saving instead of 1. Life works the same way. If you constantly exhaust yourself helping others, you become a burden instead of an asset. Smart people guard their energy and resources. That doesn't make you mean, it makes you sustainable. I learned this the hard way. For years, I said yes to everyone. Every favor, every small request, turning minutes into hours. I thought I was being good. But what happened? I started resenting people. I felt angry and bitter. My own projects suffered, my own dreams got delayed. Ironically, I became less able to help the people who really needed it. Here's the key. Saying yes to everyone means saying no to yourself. And if you abandon yourself, you eventually abandon everyone else too. The most generous people in history didn't say yes to everything. They said no to most things, so they could say yes to the right things in a big way. Machiavelli said, "He who wishes to be obeyed must know how to command." You cannot command others if you cannot manage your own time, energy, and resources. You cannot lead others if you cannot lead yourself. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I protect my resources. 5. Strategic use of virtue. I'm not telling you to become heartless. Mercy, honesty, and generosity are still important. But they need to be used strategically like weapons at the right moment. A sword sitting on a shelf does nothing. But in the hands of a skilled warrior, at the right time, it can save a kingdom. Your goodness works the same way. Help people intentionally. Show mercy strategically. Be generous in a way that creates the outcome you want. Example, instead of helping everyone a little, help the right people a lot. Instead of being nice to everyone, be exceptionally kind to those who matter. Instead of saying yes to everything, say yes to the things that align with your goals. This does 3 things. Your help becomes more valuable because it's rare. Second, by being selective, you actually create bigger positive impacts. When you focus your energy on fewer things, you can give your full attention and effort, and the results are far greater. Third, people respect you more because you are deliberate about where and how you help. Think about the most respected leaders in history. Martin Luther King Jr. wasn't gentle with injustice. He confronted it boldly and powerfully. Mother Teresa didn't try to help everyone in the world. She focused intensely on the poorest of the poor. They were all good people, but they were strategically good. They didn't use kindness just to be liked or to make themselves feel good. They used their virtue as a tool to create real change. So how do you apply this in your own life? Before you say yes to any request, ask yourself 3 questions. Does this align with my values and goals? Can I do this without draining myself? Will this person truly appreciate and respect what I'm doing? If the answer to any of these questions is no, don't just say no. Say it kindly but firmly. Be clear, confident, and respectful. When you do say yes, say it fully. Give your best effort. Deliver real value. Make a meaningful difference. This way, your yeses matter. Your help is remembered. Your generosity builds loyalty instead of entitlement. Machiavelli once said, "The promise given was a necessity of the past. The word broken is a necessity of the present." What he meant, sometimes keeping your word to one person means breaking it for another. Sometimes being good to your family means being firm with co-workers. Sometimes protecting your dreams means disappointing people who want your time. Strategic virtue isn't selfish. It's about being effective. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I choose effective kindness. 6. The illusion of gratitude. Here's something that will change how you see people forever. Gratitude is temporary. This might hurt to hear, but it's true. The favors you do, the help you give, the sacrifices you make, They expire in people's memories. Repeated favors stop feeling like gifts and turn into expectations. Thank you so much. You should do this. Why didn't you do this? Example: you help your neighbor move. They're very grateful. 6 months later, you help again. They're thankful, but less excited. 3rd time, they just expect it. 4th time, they don't even ask. They just assume you'll help. If you can't, suddenly you're the bad guy. This is human psychology. We adapt to good treatment. We take kindness for granted. Exceptional kindness starts to feel normal. In the end, people remember the advantage they got, not the kindness you gave. This happens everywhere: relationships, workplaces, friendships, families. The person who always says yes becomes the person everyone expects to say yes. The reliable helper becomes the automatic choice for every problem. When they finally set a boundary or say no, it feels like betrayal. The more consistently kind you are, the less your kindness is valued. The more available you make yourself, the less special your availability becomes. The more you give without asking for anything, the more people assume it costs you nothing. This is the illusion of gratitude. Doing more good things doesn't make people more grateful. It often makes them expect more. The people who appreciate you most are usually the ones you help least. The people who take you for granted are usually the ones you help the most. This doesn't mean people are evil. It means people are human. Humans naturally adjust expectations based on experience. Understanding this psychological reality doesn't mean you should stop being kind or helpful. It means you need to be strategic about it. Set boundaries. Make your help conditional at times. Let people experience what it's like when you're not there to fix their problems. Niccolo Machiavelli once said, "Men judge generally more by the eye than by the hand. For everyone can see and few can feel. People see what you're doing now more clearly than they remember what you did before." In other words, your past acts of kindness fade from memory. People judge you by what you do today, right now. Your current actions matter more than anything you've done before. Now, let's talk about results over intentions. The world doesn't care about your motives. It judges outcomes. You might have the purest heart in the world. Your intentions might be golden, but if your actions don't create real results, none of that matters. History doesn't remember people who only meant well. It remembers people who got things done. Ask yourself, would you rather be remembered as someone who was nice but didn't accomplish much? Or someone who might have seemed tough but actually made a real difference in the world? Most people choose the first because it feels safer. But here's the brutal truth. Being remembered as just nice usually means being forgotten entirely. Sometimes being truly good means making decisions that don't look good at first. Surface-level kindness creates temporary comfort. Tough decisions create lasting impact. A parent who disciplines a child isn't being mean. They're teaching important life lessons. A teacher who gives challenging grades isn't being cruel. They're preparing students for the real world. A boss who sets high standards isn't being unreasonable. They're helping their team grow stronger. Real goodness is about results, not appearances. It's about creating positive outcomes, not just positive feelings. This is where most good people go wrong. They focus on being liked instead of being effective. They choose comfort over growth, temporary peace over lasting change. But here's the truth. If your goodness isn't producing the results you want, you're not truly being good. You're being nice, which is different. Nice people avoid conflict. Good people resolve conflict. Nice people tell people what they want to hear. Good people tell people what they need to hear. Nice people maintain the status quo. Good people create real positive change. The world is full of nice people who accomplish nothing. What the world really needs is good people who get results. Machiavelli once said, "The end justifies the means." This doesn't mean you should do bad things to get good results. It means that good intentions alone aren't enough. What matters is the outcome. People don't live in your heart. They live with the consequences of your actions. Real goodness requires courage. It requires you to focus on results, not appearances. Stop asking, "Will they like me?" and start asking, "Will this actually make things better?" At the end of the day, people won't remember your intentions. They'll remember what you built, what you changed, and what you left behind. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I focus on outcomes. 8. Legacy and survival. Let's talk about what really matters. How you'll be remembered and what you leave behind. History doesn't honor the merely good. It honors those who survive, endure, and create results. Think about it. Can you name 5 nice people from history? Probably not. But you can name 5 people who made a lasting impact, even if they weren't always pleasant. Steve Jobs wasn't known for being nice. He was demanding, perfectionist, and often difficult. But he created products that changed billions of lives. I'm not saying you should be mean. I'm saying being remembered for making a difference is better than being forgotten for being agreeable. Here's a truth about legacy. You cannot leave a mark if you don't survive long enough to make one. Survival in business, life, and relationships requires more than just being good. It requires being smart, strategic, sometimes tough. The kindest people can't help anyone if they're crushed by those who exploit them. The most generous can't give if they give everything away too soon. The most honest can't speak truth if they're silenced by those who lie. You have to survive first, then you can thrive, then you can create the legacy you want. Protect yourself so you can protect others. Build yourself so you can lift others. Get strong so you can help the weak. This isn't selfish, it's strategic. It's not cruel, it's careful. It's not abandoning goodness, it's preserving it so it can actually make a difference. Look at people who create lasting change. They're not pushovers. They don't try to please everyone. They set boundaries and make tough choices. Being good isn't being weak. It's being powerful enough to choose goodness when it matters most. Machiavelli said, "It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both." What he really meant, respect matters more than affection. Impact matters more than popularity. Results matter more than feelings. You don't have to choose between being good and being strong. You can be both. But if you must choose, choose strength first. Strength gives you the power to be good when it counts. Weakness makes you a victim, no matter how good your intentions are. We've covered a lot today. Here's the most important lesson. Goodness without strategy is the most dangerous trap. It makes you vulnerable to exploitation. It drains your energy and resources. It creates unsustainable expectations. It prevents you from creating real impact. Goodness with strategy becomes a weapon, a tool for survival, a way to influence others, a foundation for real change. The start of a life and legacy that actually matters. Now you know the cost of blind goodness. Why generosity can trap you. Why gratitude fades. Why intentions alone aren't enough. Most importantly, you know how to turn your goodness into a strength. Be kind strategically, help effectively. Create outcomes that matter before you leave this video. Make a decision for yourself. Stop right there. Before you scroll away, let me ask you something. One question that could completely change the way you see the world. Do you really believe that being a good person keeps you safe? That kindness protects you? That generosity builds loyalty? Or that honesty earns respect? If you answered yes to any of these, get ready. Because you're about to discover the most dangerous lie society has ever told you. The biggest mistake people make is believing that being good equals being safe. Here's the harsh truth. Goodness is like fire. It doesn't protect you. It burns through everything you've built. Your relationships, your career, your dreams, everything can be consumed by it. Niccolo Machiavelli understood this better than anyone, and now it's time for you to understand it too. We get used to good things faster than we realize. What once felt special becomes normal. What once felt generous becomes expected. Repeated acts of kindness eventually lose their power. They become invisible. but a single act of saying no, that stands out. It grabs attention. That's what people remember, what they focus on, what they complain about. This happens everywhere. At work, if you always stay late, staying late becomes expected. But leave on time just once, and suddenly you're not committed. In relationships, if you always compromise, compromise becomes expected. But stand your ground once, and suddenly you're difficult. Machiavelli once said, "Benefits ought to be conferred gradually, and in that way they will taste better." He understood what most people never learn. Scarcity creates value, and abundance destroys it. Strategic giving, careful timing, and selective action make your kindness meaningful. Society cares more about appearances than reality. People don't judge your heart, they judge your image. The most successful people know this. They smile in public and make hard decisions in private. They show mercy when it serves a purpose and strength when it's required. They understand that the appearance of virtue is often more powerful than virtue itself. This isn't about being fake. It's about being strategic, deliberate, and wise. Being selective also amplifies your impact. When you focus your energy on fewer things, your contributions become bigger, stronger, and more meaningful. Leaders like Martin Luther King Jr. didn't confront injustice gently. They confronted it powerfully. Mother Teresa didn't try to help everyone. She focused intensely on the poorest of the poor. They were good people, yes, but strategically good. They used their virtue as a tool to create real change, not just to be liked. In your life, before saying yes to any request, ask 3 questions. Does this align with my values and goals? Can I do this without depleting myself? Will this person truly appreciate and respect my effort? If the answer to any is no, don't just say no, say it kindly but firmly. When you do say yes, give it fully. Deliver real value. Make a meaningful difference. This is how your generosity builds loyalty, not entitlement. Remember, your past acts of kindness fade. People judge you by your current actions. Your intentions are meaningless if your actions don't create results. History remembers people who got things done, not those who only meant well. Sometimes, being truly good requires tough decisions that don't look good at first. Surface-level kindness brings temporary comfort. Real goodness produces lasting impact. A parent disciplines a child, a teacher challenges their students, a boss sets high standards. These are acts of strategic goodness. Nice people avoid conflict, good people resolve it. Nice people tell others what they want to hear. Good people tell them what they need to hear. Nice people maintain the status quo. Good people create positive change. So here's the question for you. Are you going to keep being good the old way, blindly, without boundaries, until it destroys you? Or are you going to start being good the new way, strategically, effectively, powerfully? Will you let goodness weaken you, or will you master it and turn it into strength? The choice is yours, but now you have the knowledge to choose wisely. Your goodness is not your weakness. When used strategically, it becomes your greatest power. In a world full of wolves, don't be a sheep, be a shepherd. Protect the flock through wisdom, strategy, and strength. Drop this final affirmation in the comments. I master strategic goodness.